Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here at the Red Brick House. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of Jobu's day job. And it has been, well, I guess we could say we really started putting the pedal to the metal on the Red Brick House. It was about a year ago right now that we had gotten our electrical panel put in and the meter inspected, and we waited for the power company to come out and actually hook up the service, which was early in January. And after the football season ended last year, that's when we really started pushing on the house. And the house is definitely a long ways from that point was last year to where it is now. Next week, we're going to have company staying at the house. We're still working on it. I'm trying to get this downstairs room together. Now, doing a project like this has all been self-financed and things, me and my wife and so on. And so you try and cut corners where you can and save some money. We've repurposed a lot of the materials and things. You know, we're the ones doing all the labor. And shout out to my buddy Jet, my brother Rondo, my son Michael, who've all had a part in putting this place back together. Sometimes you'll buy something and you'll use it, and it doesn't necessarily do the job the way you want it to do. And I didn't even notice that they had these door stops right here, or door seals. These are actually a much better one. Had I seen these before, I would have gotten them. The ones that I got, I've got a little bit of a problem here because these are them. Now, on your new doors that you buy today, they're all built into it, and it's a real thick silicone rubber piece that the door itself in the corner will actually go right in here in the crease. Well, these doors don't have the creases to put those in. So I got this one, which is kind of a hard rubber. The problem is when this gets cold, it definitely shrinks and it does not compact. So what happens now is our door, you have to really slam it hard for it to stay closed, and you can see in places where there's gaps. If you try and adjust it, the door's not going to close. So, you know, I think these were $19 for these, and it was just wasted money. That's why I always say you get what you pay for. These are actually a little bit wider, and you can see where the rubber on here, it's been sitting on the back of my truck here for a couple hours, is still nice and soft and pliable. So that'll give us a softer close. We won't have to bang the doors, and it'll make a better seal. We've found a few places in the house. This is where we're gonna have to tweak it, because this isn't a typical house, because you've got the brick foundation that's here, then you got the framed up section that's over there. We found that we had a bit of cold air that was actually coming in right here, because where the floor joists actually meet over there, there was a little gap. So with our vent right up on the outside, the air would go down the line. Same thing happened, of course, up in here. So we ended up putting some insulation. That definitely helped tremendously. Another area, again, we've got the same issue with this door seal. We'll change that. Is there's a crawl space up underneath here, and we don't have a door on there at the moment. We need to actually put a door on there, and I'm going to put some rigid insulation on the wall there to help keep that wall from being able to inundate some of the air. And a couple places you can feel where it may be, because the floor joists, some places they're 13 inches apart, some places they're 20 inches apart. And there's some places we think that there may be a little gap in the side of the insulation that the cold air can kind of tuck in there. So I got a couple of bags of insulation. We'll go through and we'll make sure that we stuff some extra insulation in some places, because those things, you know, a little hole here and a little hole there ends up adding a whole lot more cold air and a bigger heat load. But you know, with the temperatures getting down to about freezing at night, when we set this at 72, the units go on and off. In here, all right, so this, because my niece and nephew are coming, this is gonna be a bedroom right here. So we've got to get the rest of the nails pulled off of here and get this sanded. I think what we're gonna do for this, for now, we're gonna try the look. We're going to take our sander and we're just going to sand it to this point here so it looks very rustic and rough. And we're going to seal coat it with varnish. If we don't decide we don't like that, using the water-based varnish will be easy to paint back over. But we're thinking about making this kind of a rustic, kind of Western theme in here, because this, to me, looks like an old barn. We're going to get a picture of like some Buffalo Soldiers. My buddy Joseph Heatherly is sending me some Civil War pistols. I can see some spurs or some spurs on the wall. I can see some horseshoes and things like that hung, making this like a featured wall, because one of the things that this place was at one point was actually the blacksmith's home. So having that kind of theme in here will be really nice. And we're looking at trying to get a really nice convertible sofa bed in here, or we may end up, love the sofa, but because there's not a lot of places you can put a lot of seating, this is a bit of wasted space because it really only fits 2 people, maybe 3. And it is a sofa bed. So we may put this one, at least for now, in here, this way, and like the old desk over here. So this can be like an office / convertible bedroom, so you can have people come in, and if you have extra guests, well, this is the guest room. You got a desk that's right here. TV can go up in there. You got a couch that converts into a bed. And if you want to go to the bathroom, you go through the living room on around to the other side. Then this room is kind of a pooch screw too. So right now we're using actually air beds and just feeling things out. This room is a little bit bigger. It's long and narrow though. And because of the bathroom shower that we had to offset, it's not a good wall to be able to put the bed on, so you have the bed there. You could put the bed on this side, but we figure this will be the better side to have the bed on. And this is kind of a corner that you're not really going to be coming into this space that much. It could be, if we were smart, maybe you end up taking and closing this door off, and then you put a bed over here, but I don't really want to close that door off. I still like having this entrance in here. But figuring we have an old sewing machine, and this was my thought. My wife was like, well, we can bring the old sewing machine and put it over here, and then they can always take the TV out of the kitchen. Since we've got YouTube TV, it doesn't have to be wired, and they could set it in there at night. But I was actually thinking it might be kind of cool to have that sewing machine sitting over here at the window. So you see the old style ceiling fan that's right there. I don't know that the plan will still be here, but we put a nice chair over there. You have the vintage sewing machine at the window. We build a nice headboard similar like what I have upstairs to go on there. And maybe you do a bookcase here and you have this great piece right here. So these are also different ideas. This is actually just a dummy front. And what I may do is I may open this up and make this actually a drawer, which will be great because then somebody has kind of a built-in dresser that's there. So that's the plan for this room. So we'll end up having company that can stay in this room for Thanksgiving and company that can stay in that room. And of course, we can also use the living room. And the same problem I have with the front. The weather stripping was nice and tight when I put it on there, but the same thing. I have to slam the door to get it to latch, and it's not really sealing up well. So we're going to go ahead and change that as well. But what I'll be doing first thing today is I've got the edge sander. I've rented that for 4 hours, and I'm going to go around and get all the edges taken care of. We're going to take the quarter round off so we can get close to this, and I'm going to do the upstairs as well, because I'm going to edge sand this first, get that out of the way, then I'll get the big sander and come back. I still have some spots in here where you can see the gaps are a lot bigger, and you can see I still have some more nails that we found when we started sanding. So I'll be hammering those in, I'll be cutting my slots and gluing this in, and then I'll be sanding around the perimeter of it. And then maybe this evening I'll be ready for us to get the big sander and then sand out the floor. So that's the game plan of what we're planning on doing here today. And to make sure that we don't mess up the HVAC, We've got plastic over there. We'll be able to close the door. We're going to open up the window, and we're going to put a fan in there and have it blowing out. So it's going to be kind of chilly in here today. All right, good people. Hope you're having a good one. Peace.